Today, I wanted to talk about finger placement on the clarinet. Let's go. Before we get this video started, I do want to quickly plug my brand new course. Y'all, if you've ever dreamed of taking your first improvised solo, please consider joining my Improv 101 course, the 12 Bar Blues. This course is going to be a step-by-step breakdown of how to take your first solo over a blues. The course is comprised of 30 videos. You can watch the videos at your own pace. It comes with all the sheet music, playing examples, and backing tracks. So if you've ever wanted to take your first solo over a blues, this is going to be the perfect course for you. If you're interested in joining the course, you can check it out at www.jazzclarinetacademy.com. Appreciate y'all. What's going on, y'all? My name is Gregory Agid, and today I wanted to talk about finger placement on the clarinet. Finger placement's been on my mind because recently I've been posting reels of only my fingers on the clarinet, and what do you know? They've been blowing up. My takeaway from that is nobody wants to see my face, and my fingers are actually the star of the show. In 2006, I had the great privilege of visiting the Marcillac Jazz Festival in the south of France. And this particular year, the festival's poster was of a sunflower playing the saxophone. Y'all, this sunflower had immaculate hand position. The saxophone looked like it fit perfectly in the hands, almost like the hands were embracing the saxophone or something. My guess has always been that the saxophone's hands were modeled after Victor Goins. And Victor plays saxophone with Wynton Marsalis. Wynton is the artistic director of the Marcillac Jazz Festival, and Victor plays with amazing hand position on both the saxophone and clarinet. Hand position is important on any instrument, but y'all, it is particularly important on the clarinet. One of the biggest differences between saxophone and clarinet is that when you push your finger down on the saxophone, you're pushing a button that's closing a pad, and that pad is sealing the hole. On the clarinet, we don't have pads for all of the keys. We have open tone holes. So when we push our finger down on the clarinet, our finger is also the pad. So we have to be very precise with our finger, because if our finger is not covering the hole entirely, the note is either not going to come out or you're going to squeak. Check it out. Voila, my beautiful saxophone. So as you can see, the saxophone has pearls. And when I push the pearl down, it's going to move a key. And then that key has a pad on it, and that pad is going to seal the hole. The saxophone is forgiving in the sense that I don't have to be exactly precise about pushing the pearl. If I push the pearl, that's great. However, if my finger is a little to the left, a little to the right, a little further down, a little further up, really whatever, it's always going to move the key down, and the key is going to have the pad seal the hole for us. The saxophone is forgiving in that sense. Voila, my clarinet. And as you can see, the clarinet is a little different. And of course, you can see that, yeah, there are buttons and there are pads on the clarinet, but there are also open tone holes. These open tone holes are not forgiving at all. You have to be extremely precise about where you place your fingers, because your fingers are your pad on the clarinet. What that means is that we have to be very particular about where we place our fingers on the tone holes, because check this out. If this finger right here, if this finger moves just that much off of the tone hole, well, all of a sudden that tone hole is no longer being sealed by my finger. And that's going to result in the note not coming out, or it's going to result in me squeaking. So just that tiny little movement right there is going to cause a problem on the clarinet. On the saxophone, we have something called resonators that are on the center of the pads. And a resonator is simply a piece of plastic or a piece of metal that helps the vibration of the horn. On the clarinet, our pads and resonators are our fingers. So the tips of our finger, that is our pad. We are going to use the tip of our finger to seal the tone hole, and that's going to help the air and the vibration travel through the clarinet. And if you can see right here, there's a little area of our finger that has a little bit more fat. We want the tone holes to be sealed with this part of our finger. I want to show you how to get the perfect finger placement while prioritizing our pads. The first thing I recommend you do is actually place the bell of the clarinet on your lap. Actually, put your legs together and put the bell of the clarinet in between your legs. And I want you to lay the clarinet on your shoulder like this. So you should be able to hold the clarinet with no hands. The bell of the clarinet is sitting in my lap, and the clarinet is leaning on my shoulder as so. The first thing I want you to do is take your left hand pointer finger. I want you to touch the pad of your finger, and then I want you to place your finger over the tone hole of the clarinet. And y'all, don't worry about rolling your hand behind the clarinet just yet. I'm just taking my pointer finger and placing it right here on the key. Now we're going to take the next finger and we're going to place the pad on the next key. And then I'm going to take my next finger and place it right here on the pad. And as you can see, all three of these fingers are perfectly sealing each one of the tone holes on the clarinet. This is where you want your fingers every time you play a note on the clarinet. Now I'm going to take my fingers on the right-hand side and I'm going to feel for the pads just like that. And I'm going to place the pads of my fingers just like that on the tone holes. And notice I haven't rolled my hands behind the clarinet yet. I'm still holding the clarinet fully like this, and I'm just taking the pads of my fingers and placing them over the tone holes. We have prioritized placing our pads and resonators over the tone hole of the clarinet. When I get to this point, then I'm going to roll my hand to the back, the thumb rest, and I'm going to roll my left hand thumb over the F key. This is what it looks like. And of course, check out the thumb position. My thumb position is right about here. I hope you can see that. The most important part of this process is that we prioritize placing the pads of our fingers over the tone holes. Then we roll back and we hold the clarinet with the pads of our fingers sealing the tone holes. And you can even see after a couple seconds of doing that, you can even see the indentation of the tone hole on my finger.
The next day.
Y'all, it's the day after, and I wanted to take this opportunity to revise some of the stuff that I shot last night. So let's get back into it. Every finger has a home. And of course, we all have different size and shape hands. So all of our finger positions are going to look just a tiny bit different based on our physical makeup. Our priority in finding the best hand and finger placement, of course, is always going to be sealing our tone holes. Once our tone holes are sealed, we can prioritize minimizing our finger movement when we're playing. So let's discuss all of our fingers' homes. So once again, we are going to seal all of our tone holes. Once the tone holes are sealed, it's important to have good finger position. So let's start up here at the top of the clarinet. And as you can see, I have a little curvature in my fingers. This one's a little straighter. I'm not really playing with straight fingers like this. Also, my fingers are not kind of pointing downwards as so. Again, the pads of my fingers are sealing the tone hole, and then I'm curving my fingers again to kind of minimize movement. And right here, I want to prioritize being able to play this A and this G sharp A flat key right here. So if my finger is here, all I need to do is roll it just as so. I don't need to pick it up and push it down, pick it up, push it down. So I have this cool little, I don't know, this curve. It's almost like I'm hugging the key. And I want to hug the key because, boom, I play the A like that. And if I need to play the A flat, I just do this. A flat, A flat, A flat. And I'm barely moving my finger like that. Curving my pointer finger right here prevents me from having to lift up my finger and take these big motions. So my finger is kind of curved right here over the A and the A flat. Let's take a look at the back of the clarinet. And of course, back here on the thumb rest right here, my thumb is angled. So of course it's covering the F hole right here. And I have my thumb kind of covering the register key. And when I'm playing the register key, I'm not moving my thumb like this. My thumb is already on the register key. So all I need to do is push it, and it's already sealing the F key as so. Again, we don't want to move like this. On my left hand, I kind of have my curved fingers. And if I go down to the pinky, my pinky needs to play one of these keys right here. I generally like keeping my pinky somewhere near the C sharp key right here. And as you can see, this seems to be where I like to call home for my pinky. And when I'm playing, I try to keep my pinky in this area. Let's deal with the right hand. And as you can see on the right hand, I have a little curvature on my fingers too. And this curvature helps me play this E flat side key, these E flat / F sharp over here. So you can see if my first finger is down here, all I need to do is this little motion right here. Again, I don't want to have a big motion of like this. My finger is kind of curved upwards, and all I need to do is that slight little motion like that. Then my right hand pinky kind of lives down here on the low F / C key. And of course, it's going to move around just a little bit, but I try to always bring it back to this key. A great way to master your finger position is by long tones. Y'all, long tones are the fundamental upon which everything is built. So when we're playing a long tone, we're essentially playing a very, very, very fast passage, very, very, very slow. Long tones are a way of looking at our technique through a microscope. Let's check out a throat B flat. And of course, when I'm playing the throat B flat, I only need 2 fingers. I have this key down right here, and I have the register key down in the back. And when I play the B flat, I'm not going to have all of my fingers flying up in the air like this. So when we're playing the B flat long tone, we can build awareness and ask ourselves, where are my fingers? And we can bring them back home. And when I'm playing the B flat, again, we can try and keep all of our fingers close to the keys, keep my pinky near the C sharp, keep all of these fingers kind of where they need to be. And of course, my right hand pinky is going to be down by the C. You can hear if I put my fingers too close to the tone holes, it impacts the tone. So we want to keep our fingers at the perfect distance to which we don't have to move them too much, but it's not impacting the tone of the note. Let's take another note like an E. Right here on this E, of course, I just have 2 fingers down. So I want to once again prioritize the curve of this pointer finger in case I need to play one of these keys right here. But check it out, my fingers are flying. So then I can build that awareness and bring my fingers back down to where they need to be. My pinkies are back at home. And again, through this process of playing long tones, our fingers are going to fly away and we just bring them back. As I'm saying all of this, it kind of reminds me of meditation. When we meditate, we want to focus on our breath. And of course, our mind is going to wander. So our mind wanders, then we refocus our mind to our breath. Then our mind wanders again, and then we refocus. And the more we go through that act, we build a muscle of being able to refocus much faster. And the same thing is happening with our fingers. Our fingers fly away, and then we bring them back. Our fingers fly away, then we bring them back. And the more we bring them back, the more our fingers are going to want to be at home. And we just need to build that awareness, and we have to readjust our technique so that we essentially always gravitate to bringing our fingers back home, right? We're just trying to train our bodies to instinctively respond, right? Right now, our body is responding by this. And at some point, we want to train ourselves so much that we just instinctively react by placing our fingers like this. Another exercise I love doing is playing 2 notes and trying to switch between those 2 notes with as little finger motion as possible. Check it out. I'm going to play a C to a D. So right there, you can see my pinky's flying away, and this, my ring finger is pretty high up. So I'm going to try and bring my pinky back down, and I'm going to bring my ring finger back down just a little bit. So of course, if I touch the C sharp at all, well, of course, then the note is not going to speak. So again, we just want to move between the 2 notes with as little motion as possible. And And check out my right hand. My right hand is at home. I have my pinky down here, and all of my fingers are sitting just above the tone holes. You're going to want to do that on every possible note combination. Now I'm going to do the same thing on a C to a C sharp. And the cool thing about this pinky C sharp is that actually your pinky never needs to leave the key. You don't need to play it flying off of the key like this. Your pinky can just sit on the key and move up and down, and it never actually leaves the key. Check it out. You can see it right here on my right hand. My pinky is sitting right here at the bottom, and my fingers are close to the tone holes without impacting the tone of the note. And you can also see that when I'm playing C to C sharp, my pinky is not flying up and down like this. I'm just pushing the button and I'm keeping my pinky on the key. Let's take one more interval. How about a G sharp to an A? Check this one out. So you can see right here, my right hand is close to the keys. My pinky is kind of touching the C sharp key right here, and I'm just kind of moving the tip of my pointer finger as I'm going between the G sharp and the A. Let's do one more as an example. Let's say we're playing B to C, B to C, B to C. Now notice my pinky right here is always holding down the C key. B, C, B, C. It's important for all of us to build some awareness and understand which keys need to be pushed and which keys can be released. So when I'm pushing the B, I'm pushing down and then I'm releasing like this. I'm releasing to the C. I'm preparing for the next note. So I can play B, C, B, C. I'm not going B, C, B, C, B, C like this. I'm not flipping the fingers at the same time. So my C is ready, B, C, B, C, B, C. And then when I'm transitioning between these two notes, I can practice keeping my left hand pinky on the B. And then when I lift it up, I keep it on the key, just like that. Just that tiny, tiny little motion, just like that. Practice all the possible intervals on your clarinet and ask yourself, where are my fingers and how can I minimize my finger motion when I'm playing between these two notes? Play something like a chromatic scale and play it really slowly. And for every note, ask yourself, where are my fingers? If your fingers are flying away, bring them back. This type of practice is really important because we want to build our habits. And by practicing this way, we're training our bodies through repetition to respond a certain way. And eventually, we want it to become second nature to just keep our fingers exactly like this. None of us was born having perfect finger placement. This is something we need to train ourselves how to do. Practice things really slowly. And through repetition, we are going to train our bodies and our fingers to respond a certain way. And eventually, the goal of all of this is that we don't want to have to think about it. We're going to do the work in the practice room. We're going to practice through repetition so that our body just naturally responds a certain way by keeping our fingers close to the keys. All right, y'all, we've talked way too long about finger position, and I think it's time we wrap up this video. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for watching this video. I appreciate your support. Please visit jazzclarinetacademy.com and you can join my Improv 101, the 12-bar blues course. And if you all are enjoying my videos, please give me a like, hit subscribe, leave a comment, go to my website, show me some love. I appreciate y'all very much, and I will catch you next time. Peace.